Hey, it's Ryan from Ryan Fowler Photography, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you a few tips about using the cropping tool inside of Photoshop. Let's get into Photoshop. Alright, here we are. I've got an image open here that I did of Surface Paradise and the sunset. It is a composite of the city lights coming on at blue hour over the sunset in the sky. And I'm quite happy with how the results are, but I want to share with you a little bit about the cropping tool inside of Photoshop. Now it is a little bit different to Lightroom, but the first thing we're going to do is, if you've got your image open, you want to unlock the background. So click that little unlock button and it'll create layer 0. Now usually I do recommend duplicating your base layer just so you're not always editing on the very fundamental underlying layer, which means you can delete options or crops or whatever you've done on the image and still have your original photo. So with this layer selected, I'm going to press Command J on the keyboard, and that's just going to create a duplicate of the layer. And that is really what we want. Now to get into the crop tool, it's over here on the left bar, or you can just press C on the keyboard, and that's going to bring up the crop tool. Now the thing that I found a little bit difficult when I first started looking into the crop tool in Photoshop is the aspect ratios. I knew where they were in Lightroom perfectly fine, but in Photoshop I got quite confused, and Adobe Bridge is similar as well. So in Bridge, if you hover over the crop tool inside of the camera raw filter, you just hold down and it'll bring up the different aspect ratios. But here, if we do it in Photoshop, you've got the crop tool, the perspective crop tool, slice and slice select tool. Now I'm only going to be showing you a bit about the crop tool today, so we'll leave it on that selection. But up here in the top bar, here is where we've got everything that we need. So on the left, we've got the crop ratios, so we can put in a custom ratio if we wanted to, a width and height by resolution, original ratio 1:1 square, 4:5 or 8:10, 5:7, 2:3 or 4:6, and 16:9. Now these are some preset ones here. However, these are the ones we're going to work with. Now, a lot of you would know that Instagram is very fond of 1:1 square crops. Video is best with 16:9, and generally your sensor will shoot at 3:2 on most standard full frame, crop sensor and mirrorless cameras, although medium format will often shoot at 4:5, which in this case has changed a little bit for me here. So I'm just going to clear that. It'll come back to normal ratio, and I will change this to original ratio just because I don't want to edit the crop on this shot. So if we keep going along, here we have the straighten tool. Now with straighten, what we'll do is I'm going to just draw a straight line somewhere. So if I draw a completely wonky line, you can see how much it changes it. But if I draw, if I go back into the straighten tool, draw a straight line across, you can see how it changes. Now with that crop, it's cropped in on a lot of my image, and I'm just going to go into edit, step backward. As we come along, there's a few different options we've got. We can show rule of thirds, grid, diagonal, and you can show this all if you want to when you're going into the crop option. Or under here you've got settings, and these are settings that you can play around with. I just leave these at default simply because I know that they are exactly how I want them to be and how I use them. And here we have delete cropped pixels. Now I'm going to deselect this option simply because when I crop in, I really don't want to delete the pixels that I haven't used, because I know that they're there and I took them. So if I can keep the pixels without losing them, and if I want to adjust later, I can. But if I delete the cropped pixels and I want to go back and adjust later, it's not going to work for me because the pixels won't be there anymore. And finally, ContentAware. So if I select that and then increase this palette and come to the tick option, if I give it a moment, it's actually filled in this section. Now, I personally don't like how this has done it, and it's not something that I have turned on all the time. But if I go and do edit, step backwards, that will get rid of it. Now I'm going to leave the ContentAware option deselected. You can use that if you are going to just have an extra tiny bit of edge around your shot, but anything major and drastic, that might be a little bit of a different story. Now what we did before was, let's just say I change that. Up here we have a option to reset the crop box, cancel the current crop operation and go back to how it was before we made any crop moving on it, or the tick, which will choose your selection and crop the image to that ratio. So for this, I'm just going to press the cross key simply because I'm happy with how the crop looks. Alright, I do hope you've enjoyed this video and got a few fundamentals of understanding of how the crop tool works inside of Photoshop. Please do give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below and hit that subscribe button to see more videos like this one and so much more exciting new stuff coming very soon. See you in the next video.